Hi everyone. In lecture 3, we explained the equilibrium in the goods market, and we explained that in the short run, output level is determined mainly by changes in total demand. And we explained the main component of total demand, which we called Z, and that is equivalent to consumption expenditure and investment plus government spending plus export minus imports. So an export minus imports, we call this part net exports. And we started with discussing equilibrium in a closed economy. So that means we assume that X equal, so export equal imports equal 0. So that means total demand in a closed economy will equal or is equivalent to these three components: consumption plus investment plus government spending. And we said consumption mainly depends on or is a function of disposable income, and we know that disposable income is the difference between your income minus taxes and government transfers. And we also assume that if the consumption function takes a linear form, so that means we could have two components of this consumption function, one which does not depend on income, we denote as C0, plus the other component which depends on income, C1, YD, which is the disposable income, and C1 we said this is the marginal propensity to consume, and explained what that means. So from here we can just replace this with y minus t. So that means C equals C0 plus C1 times y minus t. So now we go back to the main components of total demand. We assume that I is exogenous, and that's why we denote it as I bar. We also assume that G will be exogenous, so it's an exogenous variable that is determined outside this model, which means now equilibrium in the goods market will be determined when will take place when production equals total demand. And we explained that because we also assume that there's no inventory, so firms hold no inventory. So that means for equilibrium to happen, that means production has to equal has to be the same as total demand. So using this in the total demand equation, so that means y equal C, which we know now, which is this function here. So this is the consumption function. So we're going to replace C with this, with consumption. So that's C0 plus C1 y minus t, of course, plus I plus, which again it's exogenous, plus G. And we said this is still closed economy, so we're still assuming that X minus IM, or X equal IM, so export equal import equals 0. So from here we can just expand this. So basically you multiply C1 times Y and C1 times minus T. So that means Y C0 plus C1 Y minus C1 T plus I plus G. And then all what we need to do here is just what we need to do from here is just to collect these Y in one side. So that means Y minus C1 Y equal C0 plus minus C1 T plus I plus G. So from here you could just here you can take like y as a common factor here, so that means we will have 1 minus c1 y equal c0 minus c1 t plus I plus g. And because we want to drive the equation for the equilibrium output, so we want output on the left hand side without anything attached to it, so all what we need to do is just to divide by this 1 minus t, and that will cancel out here. So that means here we will have y, and we will divide this all this here by 1 minus c1. That if you have fraction like 4/2, so that means it's exactly 1/2 times 4. So this is exactly the same thing here. So because I'm dividing by 1 minus c1, so this should be 1. It's exactly the same when you say 1/1 minus c1 times the whole part here, or this here, so c0 minus c1 t plus t plus I plus g. And we explained in the lecture that this part here is the autonomous spinding, and this part here is the multiplier, and we explained what that means. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.